Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. So, today is June 31st, the eve of NHL free agency. So, from a Toronto Maple Leafs perspective, I just wanted to break down how much cap space the Leafs have to spend on new free agents. So, please like and subscribe. I'm going to break it down for you. Essentially, they have about 14 million. So, let's take a look at how we got to that number. So, first of all, yesterday was the date in the calendar where all the NHL teams had to qualify their restricted free agents. So by issuing them a qualifying offer, they retain their rights, and if they do not issue them a qualifying offer, they become free agents. So the Toronto Maple Leafs had 10 of them, and they qualified half, 5 of them. So I made a video yesterday about Matthias Michelli, who famously did not get qualified. So his qualifying offer was 4.1, deemed a little too rich. He is one of the youngest free agents now in the class, so I'm sure he's going to get paid quite handsomely because he did score 39 points. So best of luck to him. Also, Henry Thrun, he's basically a 7th or 8th defenseman, maybe 9th defenseman. Good enough to play bottom pair in the NHL, but he was playing with the Marlies essentially. So if you have a player playing on the Marlies, you probably want him to be in the 6 figures, not 7 figures. So 1.1 was deemed too expensive for the Leafs. Of course, they let go of defenseman John Prokop, which was basically one of those tall defensive defensemen that Brad Treliving was trying to stack the system with. I guess he didn't pan out. Then there's forward Braden Kressler, who was one of those small zippy forwards that Dubas signed back in the day, who also did not pan out. And then you have depth goaltender Slava Peksa, who I guess could not secure some work with the Marlies, so I can only assume he's going to go back to Russia. So who did they qualify? They, of course, qualified Nick Robertson. They qualified the new defenseman that they acquired for Joseph Woll, which would be Emil Andre. And then, of course, they qualified the 3 other Marlies, forwards Jacob Quillen, Ryan Tverberg, and defenseman William Villeneuve. So the qualifying offers total to about 5.3 million. So how do you calculate a qualifying offer? So I'll break this down for you. So the first metric here, which will apply to most of these players here, if you made less than 1.25 million, you get more or less a 10% raise. So it's calculated whatever your salary was that last year, not your cap hit, but your salary without bonus, you times it by 1.1, which gives you a 10% raise. So that would apply to all these guys here. And then the next metric is if it's between 1.25 and 1.75, you get a 5% raise. So you take your last salary and you times it by 1.05, which didn't apply to any of these guys. So the last metric is if you made, so it's the less of the two here. So it's either your last salary, so exactly your last salary. So let's say 1.75 was your salary, that's your qualifying offer, or it is 1.2% of your cap hit, whichever one is the least. And this comes into effect with some of the older guys who make a little bit more money because a lot of contracts for the younger guys, they average a certain amount and then they start a little, let's say a 3-year contract, you can make 2 million, 3 million, then 4, for example. So in Michelli's case, his cap hit was about 3.5, but his last salary was 4.25. So of course, we took the less of the two to get to that 4.1, okay? And then Nick Robertson as well is just a 1 year, so that's his salary, that's his qualifying offer. So we come to 5.3 million for a total here. So how does this apply to the cap for tomorrow? So essentially, the Leafs have signed X amount of players for just over 83 million. They have just under $21 million worth of space. Of course, some of that is going to be eaten up by the restricted free agents. We have 5.3 here. I basically rounded up to 6 because we're going to give a little raise to Nick Robertson and Emil Andre. These are just estimates. I don't really know what they're going to get paid. These 3 Marlies, I think they're going to be pretty close to their qualifying offer because they're just breaking into the league if they do, in fact, make the Leafs in September. So we're going to take 6 million off of our 21 million in space here. And then, of course, there is Gavin McKenna, who, of course, is most likely going to make the Leafs. He's the number 1 overall pick. They usually have a cap hit if they hit all of their bonuses of 4.5 million. But we're only going to count 1 million in this calculation because performance bonuses, if there's not enough cap space left at the end of the year, they do carry over to the next year. So if there is a balance left over, they go over to the following year. So we're only going to count 1 million of that for now. So that's how we come to 13.9 million. We'll just say 14 million for fun, right? So there's a couple other wrinkles that could come into effect. Now, we still have Morgan Riley, right? He has been in the trade rumors for a while. He makes 7.5 million. So if he gets traded, we could be liberating 7.5 million, but we can't really factor that in right now because any trade involving Morgan Riley could very likely bring in some salary back. So we can't really calculate for tomorrow. So we're just going to leave it at that. And then there's also Max Domi and Anthony Stolarz, who may both end up being on the injured reserve to start the year. So we don't know. I mean, it's a few months away. Domi apparently had a back surgery that is going to take some time to heal. And then Stolarz, not sure what his injury issues are, but he is maybe not going to be healthy to start the year. So we don't know if these guys are going to be on the lineup or on the IR. And funnily enough, their cap hits are identical at 3.75 million. So for tomorrow, we're going to exclude Domi, Stolarz, and Riley from this equation. We're just going to say we have about $14 million. Who are the Leafs going to go after? I very much think that the Leafs are trying to shore up their goaltending because, Stolarz may not be healthy. Wool got traded away. We're just left with Hildeby and Akhtiamov. So Bobrovsky, I just made a video about that. I'll just post it right here. So Bobrovsky has been in the rumor mill to maybe sign with the Leafs. So he may take somewhere in the range of $6 to $8 million. We're not sure how much. So that leaves us with about, let's say, half of that. We'll say cut it in the middle, $7 million left. The Leafs are pretty full on defense, but they do have some holes on forward. So Patrick Kane has been rumored to be potentially on the move to come play with Gavin McKenna, who idolized him as well. Austin Matthews idolized him as well growing up. And then who knows? Who else is out there that the Leafs could sign? I'm not sure. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments section who you guys think that the Leafs should sign. I would love to hear your opinions. Thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. My snakes would appreciate it. This is one of my bigger ones here. Just thought I'd show her to you guys. Thankfully, she behaved while I was busy explaining all this stuff. There's a lot of math and calculations going on. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the comments. Thank you so much. Take care.